My name is Juliet, 35 years old, and a fiercely protective single mother to my 8-year-old daughter Lily. Every year we attend the big family gathering at my mother's house. This time, halfway through dinner, I realized Lily had been missing too long. I found her sobbing in the upstairs bathroom, her beautiful, long blonde hair completely shaved off. My sister Samantha stood there filming, laughing loudly. "It's just a joke," she snickered. In that moment, something in me snapped completely. If you've ever had to stand up against family for your child, leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to hear how I made sure my sister would never harm my daughter again. Being a single mother to Lily has been my greatest joy and biggest challenge over the past 5 years since my divorce from Kevin. Our separation wasn't easy, but we've built a stable, loving home despite his minimal involvement. Lily is such a sensitive, artistic soul. She loved drawing ballet and had been growing her gorgeous blonde hair since she was 4. That hair became her trademark, her confidence, something she'd flip over her shoulder when she felt proud or twirl when she was thinking. It cascaded down her back like sunshine, and she beamed whenever someone complimented it. My relationship with my younger sister Samantha has been complicated since we were children. 3 years my junior at 32, Samantha had always lived in a strange state of both admiring and resenting me. Growing up, she would borrow my clothes without asking, copy my hairstyles, and date boys I had previously shown interest in. But there was always a darker side to her attention-seeking. What she called pranks, most people would call cruelty. When I was 16, she cut holes in my prom dress the night before the dance. At 20, she told my college boyfriend lies about me cheating, causing our breakup. Even at my wedding, she managed to spill red wine on my dress during photos, claiming it was an accident while barely hiding her smile. Each time our mother Margaret would minimize her behavior. "You're overreacting," Mom would say. "Samantha is just playing around. You know she loves you." My father Thomas generally stayed silent during these confrontations, unwilling to get between his wife and daughters. That dynamic hadn't changed in 30 years. Since Lily was born, I'd been increasingly reluctant to bring her to family gatherings, but I always relented, believing family connections were important for her. Despite everything I wanted Lily to know, her grandparents, her aunt, and her cousins, Zach and Abby, who were 10 and 7. The night before this particular gathering, I spent an hour carefully braiding Lily's hair into an intricate pattern she'd spotted in a magazine. She sat patiently on her little purple stool, chattering about how excited she was to show her cousins her new braids and the friendship bracelets she'd made them. "Do you think Aunt Samantha will like my hair too?" she asked innocently. I hesitated, remembering how at last year's Thanksgiving Samantha had accidentally spilled cranberry sauce that stained Lily's favorite white holiday dress. Or how at Christmas she'd given Zach and Abby expensive gaming systems while handing Lily a coloring book, watching for my reaction with thinly veiled satisfaction. "I'm sure everyone will think you look beautiful," I told Lily, avoiding a direct answer. "Just remember what we talked about. If anyone says or does something that makes you uncomfortable, you come find me right away, okay?" "Okay, Mommy," she nodded seriously. "But I'm sure it'll be fun." Zach promised to show me his new treehouse. Looking at her excited face in the mirror, her eyes bright with anticipation, I pushed down my concerns. Surely Samantha wouldn't target an 8-year-old child directly. And this year I promised myself I wouldn't let any underhanded comments or subtle digs ruin our day. How terribly wrong I was. The drive to my mother's suburban home took 45 minutes, with Lily singing along to her favorite songs the entire way. Margaret and Thomas lived in the same house where Samantha and I grew up, a spacious colonial with the same swing set in the backyard, though it was now weathered from 25 years of use. When we arrived, The driveway was already filled with cars. Mom always invited the extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins, making these gatherings feel more like reunions. Colorful balloons decorated the mailbox, and a family gathering banner hung above the front door. Mom loved her decorations. Grandpa Lily squealed, spotting my father Thomas tending to the grill on the back patio as we walked up the driveway. He turned his weathered face, breaking into a genuine smile. Whatever his faults in navigating family conflict, Thomas adored his granddaughter. "There's my butterfly," he called, setting down his grilling tongs to scoop Lily into a bear hug. "Look at your beautiful hair. Did your mom do that for you?" "Yep, it took a whole hour," Lily announced, proudly twirling to show off her braids. "Well worth it. You look like a princess," he said before giving me a warm side hug. "Good to see you, Juliet. Your mother's inside finishing up the appetizers." My Aunt Patricia appeared from the kitchen door, carrying a tray of lemonade. At 60, Patricia was my mother's sister, and often the voice of reason at family gatherings. She gave me a knowing look that said she understood my apprehension about these events. "Juliet, you look wonderful," she said, setting down the tray to embrace me. "And Lily, those braids are magnificent. You must teach me how to do that, Juliet." "Aunt Patricia, I made you something," Lily said, digging in her little backpack to produce a colorful beaded bracelet. "Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. I'll wear it right now," Patricia said, slipping it onto her wrist with genuine appreciation. The backyard was filled with familiar faces. Cousins I only saw at these gatherings were catching up in clusters around the yard. Children of various ages played tag around the old oak tree. Lily quickly spotted her cousins, Zach and Abby, playing with water guns near the flower beds. "Can I go play with them, Mom?" she asked, bouncing on her toes. "Sure, honey. Just be careful of your nice clothes," I called as she raced off. Patricia linked her arm through mine. "Come on, let's get you a drink. You look like you could use one." Inside, my mother was arranging cheese and crackers on her best serving platter. At 65, Margaret still dyed her hair the same blonde shade she'd worn for 30 years. She looked up as we entered, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. "Juliet, there you are. I was beginning to think you weren't coming." Her tone carried the slightest edge, though most people wouldn't notice it. "We said noon, Mom." "It's 12:15, I replied, leaning in to kiss her cheek. "Well, it's nice you could make it." Samantha texted that they're running a bit late. Derek had some work call he couldn't miss. She straightened her floral apron. "Is Lily with you?" "She's outside with Zach and Abby." "Those kids grow so fast," she sighed. "Zach is already in advanced math, did Samantha tell you? And Abby just won a regional gymnastics competition." I nodded, used to hearing about my niece and nephew's accomplishments. Margaret never failed to mention them, just as she never asked about Lily's achievements in ballet or her perfect reading scores. The next hour passed pleasantly enough. I chatted with relatives I rarely saw, enjoying the normalcy of family gossip and updates. Around 1:30, the front door opened and Samantha's voice rang through the house. "Hello, everyone. The party can start now." My sister entered like she always did, as if a spotlight should be following her. Samantha had the same blonde hair as me, though hers was highlighted and styled in an expensive cut. She wore designer jeans and a blouse that probably cost more than my entire outfit. Her husband Derek followed behind, carrying a cake box and looking slightly harried. Juliet Samantha nodded coolly as she spotted me air-kissing near my cheek. "Love the dress." "Is it new?" The question was innocent, but I knew the implication. Was it from a discount store? "Good to see you, Samantha," I replied, ignoring the question. "Hi, Derek." Derek, a quiet accountant who seemed perpetually surprised to find himself married to someone as domineering as Samantha, gave me an awkward smile. "Juliet, good to see you. Where can I put this cake?" "Oh, give it here," my mother interrupted, taking the box from him with reverence. "Samantha got it from that French bakery downtown. It cost a fortune, but she insisted. Isn't that thoughtful?" I forced a smile as Mom led Samantha away, already deep in conversation about Samantha's recent landscaping project. Derek excused himself to get a beer, leaving me with Aunt Patricia. Same old Patricia," muttered under her breath, making me smile genuinely for the first time since arriving. The children burst through the back door, Lily in the lead. Her face was flushed with excitement. "Mom, Zach says they have a new game to play upstairs. Can I go?" Before I could answer, Samantha appeared behind her, placing her hands on Zach's shoulders possessively. "Oh yes, Zach has been dying to show everyone his new video game system. All the kids are going up to play." Her eyes fell to Lily's hair, and something flickered across her face. What elaborate braids. Someone's trying very hard to be the center of attention. "Lily helped design them," I said evenly. "She's been looking forward to showing everyone." "I'm sure she has," Samantha replied with a tight smile. "Well, go on up, kids. Abby can show you the way, Lily." "Is it okay, Mom?" Lily asked again. Part of me wanted to say no to keep her by my side, but with other relatives watching, I didn't want to seem paranoid or overprotective. And I truly did want Lily to bond with her cousins. "Sure, honey, have fun." I watched her skip away with the other children, Samantha's gaze following her with an expression I couldn't quite read. For the next half hour, I relaxed slightly, joining in conversations about politics, recent movies, and family news. Thomas was telling a story about his fishing trip when I noticed Samantha slipping away from the group and heading toward the stairs. A small knot of unease formed in my stomach, but I told myself she was probably just checking on the children. I should have listened to my instincts. As the afternoon progressed, I realized something felt off. The house was unusually quiet for having 8 children upstairs. Normally you could hear the pounding of feet, laughter, or occasional arguments, but there was almost nothing beyond the muffled sound of a video game. I was helping Aunt Patricia arrange dessert plates when she mentioned something that made my stomach tighten. "Did Samantha show you what she bought yesterday? Electric hair clippers of all things. Said she was going to give Derek a haircut at home to save money?" Patricia shook her head. "Strange, considering she spent $200 on that cake. Never known Samantha to be frugal." My hand stilled on the plates. Hair clippers. Brand new ones. I saw them in her purse when she was looking for her phone. Patricia gave me a curious look. "You okay, Juliet? You've gone pale." "I'm fine," I said automatically, though my mind was racing. "Just realized Lily's been upstairs a while. I should check on her." Patricia nodded. "Good idea." Something's been odd about Samantha today, more tense than usual. As I moved toward the stairs, my cousin Rachel stopped me. "Have you heard about Samantha's job situation?" she asked in a low voice. "What situation?" Rachel looked surprised. "Oh, I thought you knew. She was let go from the marketing firm last month. Something about misusing company funds. Your mom's been telling everyone not to mention it." This was news to me. Samantha had been bragging about a promotion at her prestigious marketing job just weeks ago on social media. If she'd been fired, especially for something like misappropriation, that would explain her tense behavior and Derek's discomfort. My phone buzzed with several text notifications from friends, but I ignored them, suddenly anxious to find Lily. As I passed through the living room, I overheard my mother speaking in hushed tones to Uncle Bill. "Samantha's just going through a rough patch. That company didn't appreciate her talents anyway. She's already got several interviews lined up with better firms. Uncle Bill looked skeptical. Margaret, embezzlement allegations aren't just a rough patch. Has she spoken to a lawyer? It's all a misunderstanding, Mom insisted, then noticed me hovering nearby. Juliet, did you need something? Just going to check on Lily, I said, pretending I hadn't heard anything. The children are fine. They're playing games, she dismissed. We're about to serve dinner. Can you help bring out the side dishes? In a minute. I haven't seen Lily for over an hour. I continued toward the stairs, noticing Derek standing alone by the window nursing a beer. He avoided my eyes as I passed, which only increased my unease. Upstairs, the hallway was strangely quiet, except for the sound of a video game coming from Zach's room. I peeked in to see several children gathered around the TV, but no Lily. Have you seen Lily? I asked. My 10-year-old nephew barely looked up from his controller. I don't know. Maybe with Abby. Something about his evasive answer rang alarm bells. I checked the guest bedroom where the girls sometimes played with dolls. Empty. My old bedroom now a home office. Nothing. I was about to check my parents' room when I heard a faint sobbing coming from behind the closed bathroom door. Lily? I called, knocking gently. Are you in there, honey? The sobbing abruptly stopped, followed by a sniffling sound. Go away, came Lily's small, broken voice. Sweetheart, it's Mom. Let me in, please. No, her voice was panicked. I don't want you to see. My heart began pounding faster. Lily, open the door right now or I'll have Grandpa get the key. What seems to be the problem, Samantha's voice came from behind me, making me jump. She was leaning against the wall, phone in hand, looking oddly pleased with herself. Lily's upset about something, I said tersely. What happened? Oh, kids and their dramatics, Samantha waved dismissively. She's fine. At that moment, Abby emerged from Zach's room, looking guilty. Aunt Juliet, she began. But Samantha cut her off. Abby, go downstairs and tell Grandma we'll be down shortly. Samantha instructed sharply. Something was very wrong. I turned back to the door. Lily, I'm coming in right now. My voice left no room for argument. After a moment, I heard the click of the lock. I pushed the door open and froze in absolute horror. My beautiful daughter stood trembling in the middle of the bathroom floor, her head completely shaved. Patches of uneven stubble remained where the clippers had missed spots. Chunks of her long blonde hair lay scattered across the tile like fallen battle flags. Her red, swollen eyes met mine with such shame and devastation that I felt physically ill. Mommy, she whispered, then burst into fresh tears. I rushed to her, dropping to my knees to hold her shaking body. Oh my God, Lily, what happened? Who did this to you? Behind me, Samantha let out a laugh. Don't be so dramatic, Juliet. It's just hair. It'll grow back. I turned slowly, still holding Lily, to see my sister holding up her phone. She was recording us. You did this. My voice didn't sound like my own. She needed to learn not to be so vain, Samantha said matter-of-factly. Everyone's always fawning over her precious hair. Zach and Abby held her still while I gave her a little makeover. Look, I got the whole thing on video. She turned her phone screen toward me, showing Lily struggling while Zach and Abby pinned her arms. Lily was crying, begging them to stop, as Samantha ran electric clippers over her head, laughing. Say goodbye to your princess hair. By now, other adults had gathered in the hallway, drawn by the commotion. My father pushed through, stopping short at the bathroom doorway. Good Lord, he breathed, taking in the scene. What have you done, Samantha? It's just a joke, Dad. Samantha rolled her eyes. Everyone's so sensitive these days. Some of the relatives were staring in shock. Others, to my disgust, were struggling to hide smiles, as if this was just a silly prank rather than an assault on a child. My mother appeared looking annoyed at the disruption. "What is going on up here? Dinner is getting cold." "Look what your daughter did to Lily," I said, my voice shaking, as I turned my sobbing daughter toward her. For a moment, my mother looked genuinely shocked. Then her expression hardened. "Well, it's certainly not stylish, but it will grow back. Lily, stop crying. It's not becoming." "Not becoming," I echoed in disbelief. "Mom," they held her down and shaved her head against her will. "She's traumatized." "I've already posted the video to the family group chat," Samantha announced proudly. "It's hilarious. She screamed like we were killing her." Lily buried her face against me, trying to hide under the towel I'd wrapped around her shoulders. "You filmed it?" my father asked incredulously. "Of course." The look on her face was priceless. Samantha smirked, then addressed Lily directly. "Maybe now people will notice something about you besides your hair." That's when I saw it clearly for the first time, the pure jealousy in my sister's eyes as she looked at my daughter. The same look she'd given me throughout our childhood whenever I received attention or praise. But this time she had targeted an innocent child. My child. Zach and Abby helped hold her down. I asked, my voice dangerously quiet. "They were just playing along." Samantha shrugged. "Right, kids." From the doorway, Zach and Abby looked uncertain, finally sensing they'd crossed a line. Abby had tears in her eyes. Lily kept screaming to stop. Abby whispered. "I told Mom maybe we should stop, but she said Lily needed to toughen up." The bathroom suddenly felt too small, too hot. Lily continued to sob against me, and I could feel her hot tears soaking through my dress. 5 years of building her confidence, her sense of self shattered in minutes by the people who were supposed to love her. Something dark and furious unfurled inside me. This wasn't just about hair. This was about power, cruelty, and the years of enabling that had allowed Samantha to believe she could harm a child and face no consequences. I stood slowly, keeping Lily close to me. The crowd in the hallway parted as I carried my daughter toward the stairs, my mind already made up about what would happen next. "Where do you think you're going?" Samantha called after me, still holding her phone up. "Don't be such a killjoy. We're about to have dinner." I ignored her, focused solely on getting Lily somewhere safe. My daughter clung to me, still hiding her face against my shoulder. I could feel her small body trembling. "Juliet, you're overreacting," my mother said, following us down the stairs. "Samantha didn't mean any harm. It was just a silly prank." I stopped at the bottom of the stairs and turned to face her, careful to keep my voice level despite the rage building inside me. "A prank is a whoopee cushion or a fake spider, Mom. This was assault." They physically restrained my daughter and cut off her hair while she begged them to stop. The family gathering had come to a standstill, with everyone watching our confrontation. Aunt Patricia appeared at my side, gasping when she saw Lily's shaved head. "Oh my God," she whispered, placing a gentle hand on Lily's back. "You poor, sweet child." Samantha sauntered down the stairs, still recording with her phone. The video already has 20 likes in the family chat. Everyone thinks it's hilarious. Something snapped inside me. I handed Lily to Patricia and advanced on my sister. "Give me the phone, Samantha. Now." "No way," she laughed, holding it above her head. "This is gold. Maybe it'll go viral." Spoiled princess gets reality check. I lunged for the phone, but Samantha danced backward, laughing louder. "What's wrong, Juliet? Can't take a joke. Your precious little princess will survive. Unlike some of us who had to grow up in your shadow, never being good enough." "This has nothing to do with our childhood issues," I hissed. "This is about you assaulting my daughter." Assault, Samantha scoffed. Don't be melodramatic. It's a haircut that she didn't want or consent to. You held her down while she screamed and begged you to stop. Samantha's eyes narrowed. Maybe you should teach her to be less attached to her appearance. The way everyone fawns over her hair is ridiculous. She needs to learn the world doesn't revolve around her. My mother stepped between us. That's enough, both of you. You're ruining the gathering. Juliet, take Lily to the powder room and help her clean up. Samantha put the phone away. We're going to sit down and have a nice family dinner, like civilized people. I stared at my mother in disbelief. You think we're staying for dinner after this? Don't be ridiculous, Mom snapped. Of course you're staying. I've been cooking all day. Behind her, Samantha was showing the video to some of our cousins who were struggling to hide their smirks. The sight of them laughing at my daughter's trauma was the final straw. Take her outside, I told Aunt Patricia, nodding toward Lily. I'll get our things. As Patricia guided my still sobbing daughter toward the front door, I turned back to Samantha. She was still gloating, showing the video to Uncle Bill, who was shaking his head in disapproval. See how she screams here, total drama queen, Samantha was saying. I crossed the room in 3 quick strides and did something I'd never done before in my 35 years. I slapped my sister hard across the face, knocking the phone from her hand. The room went deadly silent. Samantha's hand flew to her cheek, her eyes wide with shock. For a brief, satisfying moment, she looked genuinely afraid. You crazy bitch, she gasped. If you ever come near my daughter again, I said, my voice low and steady, if you ever post or share that video, I will press charges for assault on a minor. I will get a restraining order. And I will make sure everyone knows exactly what kind of person you are. I picked up her phone from where it had fallen and deleted the video before tossing it back to her. You can't delete it, she said smugly, recovering quickly. I already saved it to the cloud. Then enjoy explaining to the police how you uploaded evidence of yourself assaulting a child, I replied coldly. My mother rushed to Samantha's side, examining her cheek as if she'd been gravely injured. How dare you hit your sister in my house? After everything we've done for you and that child? What exactly have you done for Lily, Mom? Besides, ignore her, belittle her, and now defend someone who assaulted her. Don't be so self-righteous, Mom snapped. This is why no one wanted you to bring that bastard child into this family in the first place. She's been nothing but a source of drama since the day you announced your pregnancy. The room fell silent again, this time with the uncomfortable tension of a long-held family secret accidentally revealed. My father stepped forward, his face ashen. Margaret, that's enough, he said quietly. But the damage was done. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. What did you just say about my daughter? My mother's eyes widened, realizing her mistake, but her pride wouldn't let her back down. You heard me. We all know Kevin had doubts about her paternity. Why do you think he's barely involved? But we accepted her anyway, despite the embarrassment to this family. I was speechless. Kevin and I had been married when Lily was conceived. There had never been any question of her paternity, at least not from him. This was a lie my mother had apparently been nurturing for years, using it to justify her emotional distance from her granddaughter. Mom, that's not true, Samantha said, looking uncomfortable for the first time. Even she seemed shocked by this revelation. Kevin never said that. He certainly implied it to me, Mom insisted. Why else would he abandon them? He didn't abandon us, I said, finding my voice at last. We divorced because we grew apart. He sees Lily every other weekend, you know that. Not for the past 6 months, he hasn't, Mom countered. Convenient that you leave that out. It was true that Kevin had moved to Seattle for work 6 months ago, making his regular visits impossible. We'd been managing with video calls and plans for summer visits. But Mom had twisted this normal co-parenting challenge into something ugly and false. "I don't know what lies you've been telling yourself," I said coldly, "but Lily is Kevin's daughter. And even if she weren't, she's my daughter. She's your granddaughter. And you've just shown that you don't deserve to be in her life." I turned to leave, but Samantha blocked my path. The smug look had returned to her face. "So righteous," she sneered. "Saint Juliet always the victim. But we all know the truth now, don't we? No wonder you're so protective of her, guilty conscience." I looked at my sister, really looked at her, and felt nothing but pity. "You're so eaten up with jealousy and bitterness that you assaulted an 8-year-old child. What does that say about you, Samantha?" "It says I'm not afraid to take what I want," she shot back. "Unlike you hiding behind your daughter because your own life is empty and pathetic." My father finally stepped between us. "That's enough, Samantha. Juliet, take Lily home. We'll talk when things have calmed down." Aunt Patricia appeared in the doorway. "Lily's in your car," she told me quietly. "I'll get her backpack." As I gathered our things, I could hear my mother and Samantha arguing in heated whispers. Derek stood awkwardly nearby, looking like he wanted to disappear. "I'm sorry," he said quietly as I passed him. "I didn't know she was going to do that. I would have stopped it." I paused, studying his face. He seemed genuinely remorseful, but you knew she bought the clippers. You knew something was planned. He looked away, confirming my suspicion. "I thought it was for me. She said she was going to give me a haircut to save money since—" He trailed off. "Since she lost her job, I finished for him." He nodded miserably. "Things haven't been good, Juliet. She's not handling it well." "That doesn't excuse what she did to Lily." "I know," he agreed. "It was wrong. I'll talk to her." I doubted his talk would make any difference, but I had no energy left for his marital problems. Goodbye, Derek. As I walked toward the door, my mother made one last attempt to salvage her illusion of a perfect family gathering. "If you leave now, Juliet, don't bother coming back," she called after me. "Family loyalty still means something to some of us." I turned one last time, surveying the room full of relatives who had stood by and watched a child be traumatized without intervening. Some looked ashamed, others uncomfortable, a few defiant. My father looked torn, as always, between his wife's demands and his own conscience. "Family loyalty," I repeated. "Is that what you call what happened today? Because from where I stand, loyalty means protecting those who can't protect themselves. It means standing up against cruelty, not enabling it. If this is your definition of family, then we're better off without it." With those words hanging in the air, I walked out the front door, closing it firmly behind me. In the car, Lily sat huddled in the passenger seat, a blanket from the trunk wrapped around her shoulders, hiding her head. Her eyes were swollen from crying, her face blotchy and exhausted. "I'm sorry, Mommy," she whispered as I got in. "I tried to stop them, but they were too strong." My heart shattered all over again. "Oh, baby, this is not your fault. Not at all. You have nothing to be sorry for." As I pulled out of the driveway, I could see my mother and Samantha watching from the front window. For the first time in my life, I felt nothing but cold determination as I drove away from my childhood home. The time for appeasing toxic family members was over. Now my only focus was healing my daughter and making sure those responsible faced consequences. The drive home was quiet, except for Lily's occasional sniffles. She kept the blanket wrapped tightly around her head, refusing to look out the windows when we stopped at traffic lights. "What if someone sees me?" she whispered, when I suggested she might be more comfortable without it. There's nothing wrong with how you look, I told her, though my heart ached knowing how she must feel. But you can keep it if it makes you feel better right now. By the time we pulled into our driveway, the sun was setting. Our modest two-bedroom house with its small front garden and wind chimes hanging from the porch had never looked more like sanctuary. Home, safety. I don't ever want to go back there, Lily said as I unlocked the front door. You won't have to, I promised. Not ever again if you don't want to. Once inside, Lily headed straight to the bathroom. I followed, worried about what she might do or feel seeing her reflection again. She stood before the mirror, slowly lowering the blanket to reveal her nearly bald head, running her fingers over the uneven stubble where her beautiful hair had been. I look like an alien, she whispered, fresh tears welling in her eyes. I knelt beside her. You look like my strong, beautiful girl who went through something terrible today. And I'm so sorry I wasn't there to protect you. Why did Aunt Samantha do this? She asked, her voice small and confused. Why does she hate me? How do you explain adult jealousy and cruelty to an 8-year-old? How do you make sense of something so senseless? Your aunt has a lot of problems inside herself, I said carefully. None of this has anything to do with you. Some people hurt others when they feel bad about themselves. And Grandma called me a bad name, Lily continued. Bastard child. What does that mean? The rage I'd been suppressing for Lily's sake threatened to overwhelm me again. It's an old-fashioned, mean word that isn't true. Grandma was wrong to say it, and she was wrong about everything today. Lily turned to face me, her expression suddenly older than her years. Are we still family with them? Do I still have to call them Grandma and Grandpa and Aunt Samantha? No, I said firmly. Family isn't just about being related by blood. Real family treats you with love and respect. They don't hurt you on purpose. I ran a bath for Lily, adding her favorite lavender bubbles. While she soaked, I made 3 important phone calls. The first was to my friend Megan, a family lawyer. They did what she exclaimed when I explained what had happened. Juliet, that's assault on a minor. You need to file a police report immediately. I will, I promised. But first I need to make sure Lily is okay. My second call was to Dr. Bennett, a child psychologist Lily had seen briefly after the divorce. She agreed to see us first thing Monday morning. Document everything, she advised. Take photos of her head. Write down exactly what happened while it's fresh in your mind. This kind of betrayal by family members can be deeply traumatic. My third call was to Kevin. Despite what my mother had implied, Kevin had never questioned Lily's paternity. Our divorce had been about growing apart, not infidelity. He was living in Seattle now, but remained involved in Lily's life through weekly video calls and planned visits. When I told him what had happened, he was furious. I'm booking a flight right now, he said. I'll be there tomorrow. Those people are never coming near our daughter again. By the time I finished my calls, Lily had gotten out of the bath and put on her favorite pajamas. I found her sitting on her bed looking lost. Can I sleep with you tonight? She asked. Of course, sweetheart. As we curled up in my bed, my phone began buzzing with messages. My mother, my father, even Samantha. I turned it off without reading any of them. Tomorrow would be soon enough to deal with the fallout. Tonight was for comforting my daughter. What about school? Lily whispered in the darkness. Everyone will laugh at me. We'll figure it out, I promised. Maybe you'll want to wear a pretty scarf or hat for a while. Or maybe you'll decide to rock your new look and show everyone how brave you are. But whatever you choose, I'll be right beside you. I'm not brave, she said, her voice cracking. I cried and screamed when they held me down. That doesn't mean you're not brave, I told her, stroking her back. Being brave means continuing on even when you're scared or hurt. and you're the bravest person I know." She fell asleep, eventually exhausted from the emotional trauma of the day. I lay awake beside her, my mind racing with plans and decisions. By morning, I had a clear course of action. No more allowing toxic behavior for the sake of family peace. No more exposing Lily to people who couldn't respect basic boundaries. When the doorbell rang at 7:30 the next morning, I wasn't surprised. I carefully extracted myself from Lily's sleeping form and went to answer it already, knowing who I would find. My parents stood on the porch looking tired and anxious. My father held a large gift bag with tissue paper sticking out the top. "What do you want?" I asked, not inviting them in. "We need to talk," my mother said, her tone less commanding than usual. "Things got out of hand yesterday." "Out of hand," I repeated incredulously. "Is that what you call it when your daughter assaults your granddaughter?" "Please, Juliet," my father interjected. "Just hear us out. We brought something for Lily." He held out the gift bag. I took it and looked inside. An expensive wig, blonde and synthetic, lay nestled in tissue paper. "You think this fixes anything?" I asked, fighting to keep my voice down so I wouldn't wake Lily. "It's a start," Mom said. "We feel terrible about what happened." "Do you?" I challenged. "Because yesterday you were defending Samantha and insulting my daughter." My mother had the grace to look ashamed. "I was upset. I said things I didn't mean. Like calling my daughter a bastard child, questioning her paternity. Those seemed like things you've been thinking for a long time, Mom." "I was wrong," she admitted, the words clearly difficult for her to say. "I'm sorry." Under normal circumstances, this unprecedented apology from my proud mother might have moved me. But these weren't normal circumstances. "Where's Samantha this morning?" I asked. "Is she sorry too?" My parents exchanged glances. "Samantha Island. Dealing with the consequences of her actions," my father said carefully. "What does that mean?" My mother sighed heavily. "Someone at the gathering yesterday posted the video on social media. One of Samantha's former colleagues saw it. It's spreading quickly, and the comments are, 'Not kind.' The job interviews she had lined up have been canceled," my father added. "No company wants to hire someone filmed assaulting a child." A part of me felt vindicated hearing this, but another part was concerned about the video being public. "I don't want Lily exposed like that," I said firmly. "I want that video taken down." "We're trying," Mom assured me, "but it's already been shared hundreds of times. Samantha is devastated." "Samantha is devastated," I repeated, my voice rising despite myself. "What about Lily? What about the child who was held down and violated by people she trusted?" "We know," my father said softly. "We know she's the real victim here. That's why we've come. Samantha needs help, Juliet. Professional help. But she also needs family." And there it was, the real reason for their early morning visit. Not primarily concern for Lily, but damage control for Samantha. "What exactly are you asking me to do?" I asked, already knowing the answer. "Make a statement," my mother said. "Say it was a family misunderstanding that got out of hand. Say you don't want this affecting Samantha's career." I stared at them, momentarily speechless. "You want me to publicly forgive Samantha to help her escape consequences for what she did to Lily?" "She's your sister," my mother pleaded. "Despite everything, she's family." She held down my child and shaved her head while filming her terror for entertainment. I said slowly, making sure each word was clear. "And you want me to help her?" "Please, Juliet," my father said. "Samantha made a terrible mistake, but this social media backlash could ruin her life." I looked at my parents properly then, at my mother's manipulative desperation, at my father's conflict between doing what was right and keeping peace. I had spent my entire life trying to please these people, excusing Samantha's pranks, accepting my mother's favoritism, and enduring countless small cruelties for the sake of family harmony. But watching them stand on my porch, more concerned about Samantha's reputation than Lily's trauma, something fundamental shifted inside me. The last threads of obligations snapped clean. "I'm not going to help Samantha avoid consequences," I said firmly. "In fact, I'm filing a police report today, and I'm consulting with a lawyer about a restraining order." My mother's face hardened. "You would send your own sister to jail over a haircut." "I would hold an adult accountable for assaulting a child. The fact that she's my sister makes it worse, not better." "Think of what this will do to the family," she insisted. "I am thinking of family," I replied. "My family, Lily, the person who matters most to me in this world." "We're your family too," my father said quietly. I felt a wave of sadness then, not for myself, but for what might have been, for the supportive family I'd always wanted and never had. "You made your choice yesterday," I told them. "When you defended Samantha instead of protecting Lily, you made your choice very clear." "We're trying to make it right," my mother insisted. "No, you're trying to fix things for Samantha. There's a difference." I handed the gift bag back to my father. "Lily doesn't need a wig. She needs family who will love and protect her. If you ever decide you want to be those people, we can talk again. Until then, please leave us alone." I closed the door gently, but firmly leaning against it as I heard them talking in low, urgent voices on the porch before finally leaving. When I turned around, Lily was standing in the hallway in her pajamas, her vulnerable shaved head exposed. "Was that Grandma and Grandpa?" she asked. "Yes," I admitted, not wanting to lie to her. "They brought you a present, but I sent them away. I hope that's okay." She nodded solemnly. "I don't want their presents. I just don't want to feel scared anymore." I crossed the room and gathered her into my arms. "You won't have to, baby. Things are going to be different now. I promise." As I held her, I knew that promise wasn't just empty words. Something had truly broken yesterday, not just between Lily and her extended family, but within me. The endless cycle of appeasing toxicity for the sake of family peace was over. From now on, our well-being would come first, no matter what. The next week was a blur of activity, as I took decisive steps to protect Lily and hold Samantha accountable. Monday morning began with a visit to the police station, where I filed a formal report against my sister for assault on a minor. The officers took photographs of Lily's shaved head and recorded her account of being held down against her will. "Will Aunt Samantha go to jail?" Lily asked as we left the station. "I don't know, sweetheart," I answered honestly. "But what she did was wrong, and there need to be consequences so she doesn't hurt other children." Our next stop was Dr. Bennett's office. The child psychologist greeted Lily, warmly admiring the colorful scarf I'd helped her wrap around her head that morning. "That's a beautiful scarf," Dr. Bennett said. "It brings out your eyes." Lily managed a small smile, the first I'd seen since the incident. For the next hour, Dr. Bennett spoke with Lily alone while I waited anxiously in the reception area. When they finished, Dr. Bennett invited me in for a brief discussion while Lily drew pictures in the waiting room. "She's experiencing significant trauma," Dr. Bennett told me frankly. "Being physically restrained by family members, having her bodily autonomy violated, being filmed during a vulnerable moment, these are all profound betrayals of trust." "What can I do to help her?" I asked, fighting back tears. "You're already doing it," she assured me. "You removed her from the situation, you're holding the perpetrators accountable, and you're getting her professional support. Now she needs time, consistency, and lots of reassurance that she's safe and loved." Dr. Bennett recommended weekly sessions and suggested joining a support group for children dealing with family trauma. She also provided resources for helping Lily prepare to return to school. Children can be cruel about appearance differences, she warned, but they can also be surprisingly adaptable and supportive with the right guidance. That afternoon, I met with the principal and school counselor at Lily's elementary school. They were horrified by what had happened and immediately offered their support. We can arrange a class discussion about respecting differences before Lily returns, the counselor suggested. Without singling her out, we can prepare her classmates to be supportive. The principal added, and we have a strict no-bullying policy. Any child who teases Lily will face immediate consequences. Their support was a welcome contrast to the betrayal we'd experienced from family. By Wednesday, Lily felt ready to return to school, armed with a collection of colorful scarves and hats I'd purchased for her. To my surprise, her best friend Zoe arrived at our door that morning, sporting a newly buzzed haircut. Mom said I could do it to show Lily she's not alone, Zoe explained, beaming with pride. Do we match? Lily's eyes filled with tears, but this time they were tears of gratitude. She removed her scarf, revealing her growing stubble. We matched, she confirmed, reaching for her friend's hand. While Lily was at school, I met with Megan, my lawyer friend, to discuss legal options. The police report is a good start, she said. But I also recommend filing for a temporary restraining order against your sister. Given what happened, any judge would grant it. What about my parents? I asked. They seem more concerned about protecting Samantha than supporting Lily. Megan considered this. Unless they've made specific threats, we don't have grounds for a restraining order against them. But you have every right to limit contact. You're Lily's mother. You decide who has access to her. By Thursday, news of the incident had spread further than I'd anticipated. My phone rang with a number I didn't recognize. Is this Juliet Williams? A woman's voice asked when I answered. Yes. Who's calling? My name is Rachel Gonzalez. I'm a reporter with the Daily Chronicle. We've received information about an incident involving your daughter and sister that's gone viral online. I'd like to get your side of the story. I froze. The last thing I wanted was media attention making this ordeal even more public. I have no comment, I said firmly, and I'd appreciate you respecting my daughter's privacy. She's a minor who's been through enough. I understand, the reporter said, sounding genuinely sympathetic. But you should know, the video has over 50,000 views now. People are calling your sister the haircut aunt from hell. If you want to control the narrative at all. After hanging up, I immediately checked social media. To my horror, the video had indeed gone viral with hundreds of outraged comments condemning Samantha. While the public's support for Lily was touching, the thought of thousands of strangers watching her moment of trauma made me sick. I called Megan again. Can we get the video taken down? We can try, she said. I'll send cease and desist letters to the platforms, but once something's online... I know, I sighed. It's never really gone. That evening, I received an unexpected call from Derek, Samantha's husband. I wanted you to know I've moved out, he said, without preamble. What Samantha did was unforgivable. I can't be married to someone who would hurt a child like that. I was stunned. I'm sorry, Derek. I know this must be difficult. Don't be sorry, he said firmly. I should have stepped in sooner. I've known for a long time that Samantha's behavior wasn't normal, but I kept making excuses. Watching that video going viral was a wake-up call. I've been enabling her just like your parents have. Before hanging up, he added, I've given a statement to the police supporting Lily's account. I want to do what's right. Friday brought another surprise visitor, Aunt Patricia, standing on my porch with a large basket of Lily's favorite cookies and art supplies. I should have done more that day, she said, as I invited her in. I should have stopped Samantha somehow. You were the only one who helped us leave, I reminded her. That meant a lot. Patricia shook her head sadly. It wasn't enough. I've enabled your mother and Samantha for too long, keeping the peace instead of speaking the truth. She took my hand, but that ends now. I want you and Lily to know you have family who stands with you, who knows right from wrong. Her support brought tears to my eyes. Thank you. That means more than you know. The weekend brought more developments. Kevin arrived from Seattle, staying at a nearby hotel, but spending most of his time with us. Having Lily's father present provided another layer of security and normalcy that helped her begin to heal. Together, Kevin and I took Lily to a salon specializing in children's hair. The stylist, a kind woman named Trina, examined Lily's uneven stubble. We can even this out into a cute pixie style, she suggested. And I have some wonderful healing oil for your scalp. Lily hesitated. Will I still look like a girl? The most beautiful, stylish girl, Trina assured her. Plenty of girls choose short hair because it looks so chic. She showed Lily photos of female celebrities with short haircuts, helping her see that femininity wasn't tied to hair length. When the styling was complete, Lily looked at her reflection with cautious approval. It's actually kind of cool, she decided, turning her head to see all angles. And it feels nice when you touch it. It shows off your beautiful eyes, Kevin told her. And it'll be perfect for summer swimming. Sunday evening, as Kevin prepared to return to Seattle with promises to call daily and plans for Lily to visit during summer break, my phone rang again. It was my father. Juliet, he said, his voice sounding older and more tired than I'd ever heard it. I need to talk to you, not about Samantha, about me, about the ways I've failed you and Lily. The vulnerability in his voice caught me off guard. Dad, I've spent my life avoiding conflict, telling myself I was keeping the peace when really I was just being a coward, he continued. I let your mother favor Samantha. I let Samantha bully you. And now I've let both of them hurt Lily. I sat down unprepared for this level of self-awareness from my conflict-avoidant father. Your mother and I are in counseling, he continued, separately and together. I don't expect you to forgive me right away, or maybe ever, but I want you to know I'm finally facing the truth about our family dynamics, and I'm so sorry, Juliet, for everything. By the time Monday morning arrived again, exactly 1 week after the incident, the world felt fundamentally different. As I helped Lily prepare for school, adjusting her favorite beret over her new pixie cut, I realized we both stood taller. The path ahead wouldn't be easy. There would be court dates, therapy sessions, difficult conversations, and undoubtedly more family drama. But for the first time, I felt completely certain about where my boundaries lay and how far I would go to protect my daughter. The family patterns of generations had been broken painfully but definitively, and from that break, something healthier was already beginning to grow. 3 months passed, bringing summer warmth and new beginnings. Lily's hair had grown into a stylish shortcut that she'd decided to keep, even though it was now long enough for her previous style if she'd wanted it. I like being able to feel the breeze on my neck, she told me one afternoon as we sat on our back porch swing, and I don't have to spend forever brushing it. The physical healing had come quickly. The emotional healing took longer, with weekly therapy sessions for both Lily and myself. Dr. Bennett had helped Lily process her feelings of betrayal and vulnerability, while my own therapist, Dr. Monroe, helped me work through the complicated grief of setting boundaries with toxic family members. Grief I had questioned during an early session, but nobody died. You're grieving the family you wished you had, Dr. Monroe explained. The supportive mother, the loving sister, the protective father. It's okay to mourn those relationships even as you build healthier ones. The legal consequences for Samantha had been significant, though less severe than they might have been. The district attorney had charged her with assault on a minor, but allowed her to plead to a lesser charge that included community service, mandatory counseling, and a restraining order preventing her from contacting Lily. The social media fallout had ultimately worked in our favor. After the initial viral spread of the video, public outrage had led to most platforms removing it as content depicting child abuse. Samantha had lost her new job opportunity, and according to my father, was struggling to find employment with her digital reputation damaged. She's finally facing real consequences, my father told me during one of our careful rebuilding conversations. Your mother still struggles with that, but I'm holding firm. No more enabling. My relationship with my father was slowly healing. He came by once a week to spend time with Lily, always respecting my boundaries and never pressuring me to reconcile with Samantha or my mother. He brought small, thoughtful gifts, flowers for me, art supplies for Lily, and listened more than he spoke. I've missed so much by being passive, he admitted one evening, as he prepared to leave after dinner. I don't want to miss any more. My mother was a different story. After her initial attempt to make me help Samantha avoid consequences, she had retreated into wounded pride and martyrdom. She sent occasional texts about how painful it was to be cut off from family, but never acknowledged her role in the situation or asked how Lily was healing. Classic narcissistic response, Dr. Monroe noted when I shared these messages. When unable to control the narrative, she positions herself as the victim. The healthiest surprise had been the strengthened relationships that emerged from the wreckage of old ones. Aunt Patricia had become a regular presence in our lives, dropping by with baked goods and stories about my childhood that painted a more accurate picture of family history than my mother's selective memories. Your mother was always jealous of the attention you received as a child, she revealed one afternoon over tea. You were outgoing and naturally charming. People gravitated to you. Margaret wanted that kind of easy charisma, but never had it. So she focused all her energy on Samantha instead. That doesn't excuse what they did to Lily, I said. Nothing excuses that, Patricia agreed firmly. I'm just helping you understand the broken patterns so you don't repeat them. Kevin had also become more present in Lily's life, scheduling regular video calls and planning his work trips to include visits. The trauma had reminded him how precious and fleeting childhood was, and he was determined not to miss any more of it than necessary. The most profound healing, though, had been in Lily herself. The terrified, sobbing child hiding under a blanket had transformed into a more confident, self-aware person than she'd been even before the incident. 2 months after the family gathering, Lily had asked to give a presentation to her class about bullying and resilience. Her teacher, Miss Rivera, had enthusiastically supported the idea, helping Lily create a thoughtful, age-appropriate talk about standing up to mistreatment and the importance of bodily autonomy. Even if someone is family, Lily told her classmates they don't have the right to touch you or hurt you, and if someone does hurt you, telling is not tattling, it's protecting yourself. Watching her speak with such clarity and conviction had brought tears to my eyes. Out of such cruelty had come this unexpected gift. Her early understanding of boundaries and self-worth, lessons many adults still struggled to learn. Instead of attending the traditional summer family reunion at my parents' house, we created new traditions. Lily and I, sometimes joined by Kevin or Aunt Patricia, or my newly supportive cousins Rachel and Michael, took weekend trips to the lake, had backyard movie nights, and volunteered at the local animal shelter. Family is who treats you with love and respect became our unofficial motto, repeated whenever Lily asked difficult questions about Samantha or her grandmother. On a warm August evening, as Lily's ninth birthday approached, we sat together on the front porch, making invitations for her party. She carefully wrote out names her school friends, our neighbor's Aunt Patricia, her father, and several other supportive adults who had helped during the difficult months. "Mom," she asked, setting down her marker, "do you think people can really change?" I considered the question carefully. I think people can change if they truly want to and are willing to do the hard work. Why do you ask? I was wondering about Grandma and Aunt Samantha, she said. Do you think they'll ever change? The question pierced my heart. Despite everything, she still wondered about the family members who had hurt her. I don't know, sweetheart, I answered honestly. Your aunt is in therapy now, which is a good first step. But real change means acknowledging the harm you've caused, making amends, and behaving differently over time. Like Grandpa is trying to do, she observed. Yes, like Grandpa. She nodded thoughtfully. I'm not ready to see them again. But maybe someday, if they change for real. Her wisdom continually amazed me. That's very mature, Lily, and it's completely your choice. You don't owe forgiveness to anyone who hasn't earned it. Dr. Bennett says forgiveness is for yourself, not the other person, Lily said, returning to her invitations. But you still need boundaries. I smiled, recognizing the therapist's gentle guidance. Dr. Bennett is very smart. Later that night, after Lily was asleep, I sat alone on the porch with a cup of tea, reflecting on how much had changed in 3 short months. The pain wasn't gone, the betrayal still stung, and I still had moments of rage when remembering Lily's sobs. But those feelings no longer controlled me. Instead, they had transformed into determination to build a healthier life for both of us. My phone buzzed with a text from my father. Margaret agreed to start individual therapy tomorrow. Real progress. Thinking of you both. It was a small step, but perhaps a meaningful one. I wasn't holding my breath for miraculous transformation, but I was cautiously hopeful that some healing might eventually be possible. The journey wasn't over. There would be more difficult days, more healing to do, more boundaries to maintain. But we were on a new path now, one built on truth rather than pretense, on genuine love rather than obligation. And that made all the difference. As the summer stars appeared above our little house, I made a silent promise to myself and to Lily. We would continue to choose truth over false harmony, authenticity over appearances, and love over loyalty to toxic patterns. We would remember that standing firm in your values isn't selfish, it's necessary. And we would never again mistake cruelty for care, no matter how it was disguised. Family could be a source of deep pain, but it could also be recreated and redefined. We were living proof of that transformation, growing stronger with each passing day. Have you ever had to set difficult boundaries with family members to protect yourself or your children? How did you find the courage to stand firm when others pressured you to keep the peace? Share your experience in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear that it's okay to choose well-being over toxic family dynamics. Thank you for being part of our journey, and remember that healing is always possible even after the deepest betrayals.